Welcome to Monday. My name is Amanda Brown and I'm the Education Director for Deadwood History, and I'm back again with our Archaeology Camp. So if you've watched our past couple of videos about Archaeology Camp, you know that we were unable to do them in person this year because of the coronavirus and the inability to have a group of children all in one space while also social distancing. So we decided we would bring Archaeology Camp to you virtually through videos and posts on our Facebook and on our website. So I hope you've been able to tune into some of those. If you haven't, that's okay. We've talked about things that you should bring along with you to Archaeology Camp if you're a student that signed up for it. So things like your water bottle, sunscreen, snacks, a great attitude. And then last week we started on our dig so that we could start finding some of the artifacts that are in my portable dig box here. So we're going to continue with that today. I think there's a few in here that I know of, but we're going to see what we can find. Now, if you remember, we have lots of tools that we are going to use during these digs. Things like our dustpan, we've got our trowel, we've got different types of brushes, we've got two different types of rulers, the long meter ruler and then the smaller ruler, which is here, so that we can measure all of our artifacts that we find within our dig site. So we have our dig site here. Remember, I found my northern point so that I know exactly where in my site that I find these artifacts, so that when I measure, when I find something in here and I measure where it is in here, I measure along my northing and my easting. So that's why I have the two meter rulers, and then I also measure how far down into the dig site I find it. That's going to tell me where in history I found my artifact. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. I'm going to see if I can't find a few more artifacts. I remember last time I found one right down in here, right in this area. So I'm going to continue looking right in here to see if I can't find anything else in that area. If I find something close to an artifact that I found before, it might mean that they belong together, that they're part of the same piece that maybe broke apart, or they have some sort of connection to each other, maybe. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I've got my trowel here, so I'm gonna be very, very careful. And this time I did remember to bring along a bucket so that I can put my extra sand whenever I start digging out here, put my sand in my bucket so that I can sift through it later in case I missed something. Could be something very small, like a very small piece of glass or a very small piece of porcelain. Who knows? But I want to make sure that I get it, that I get everything out of this site that I can. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start going through here very carefully with my trowel. I've got my dustpan here. There we go. So that I can start moving some of my extra sand and dirt out of the way. And I just want to be very, very careful about how I do this. Using the edge, not the point, just the edge. And there we go. I've already found something. I don't know if you can see right down in there. There's a very small corner of something white right there. I know that's not a rock because it doesn't look like any of the rocks that are already in my site. So I'm going to go ahead and I might use this a little bit more to kind of show it off a little bit more so I can dig around it. But I'm definitely going to want to get my brush. I'll use a smaller one so that I can get around it so I can see the whole thing, or as much of it as possible without disturbing it too much. So I can see there's a small piece of a white shard. Looks very, very similar to the one that we found last week. So maybe it belongs with it. Maybe it could match up kind of like a puzzle piece. Maybe it's all part of the same artifact. I don't know yet. Because before I can take it out and study it, I have to measure it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure out. I'll take this out so that I have a space to do it. And I'm going to measure out this way. And I want to make sure that it's nice and straight. And I'm going to measure out, so that's my northing, and I'm going to measure out my easting as well. And I want to make sure that it's nice and straight. All right, so it's at 20 and a half and 5 and a half. So 20 and a half and 5 and a half. So I'm going to take my log that I have here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put down that I found another white, small white shard of something. I don't know what yet, so I'm not going to put that what I think it is. This is number 14 of the things that we found in this site, and I said that it's at 20 and a half northing and 5 and a half easting. And then I'm going to measure how far down it is. So without like moving it or anything like that, I'm going to measure it's exactly 5 inches down. So I'm going to put that it's 5 inches down as my depth. Okay, now one thing that I did not show you in last week's video that I'll show you this time is how we measure or how we record on our grid like this. So you can see all of the other artifacts that we found in here. And we're going to go ahead and mark this artifact on our grid. So I'm going to find 20 and a half. So I'm going to measure, let's get some of that out of there. I'm going to measure, here's 20, and I'm going to go up half a mark because these go in increments of 5. So 5, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So 20 and a half would be about right here. And then my other number is 5 and a half. So these are also 5. So you can see down here, 5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. So here is where my artifact was. And I'm going to label that as artifact number 014. So I know that's where in my site it is. So we found another artifact, we've measured it, and we have it all labeled on all of our paperwork. So now we are safe to take it out. So I can just go ahead and grab it. And I can look at it a little bit more closely. It does look like it's got some sort of coating on it. It's white on one side, but on the other side you can see it's actually got all of this piece broken off. I'm not sure what it might be, but I can maybe take a guess and relay those to whoever's doing the studying and say, I think this might be a piece of porcelain, maybe part of a plate. And they can look at it and they can take that and they can go, maybe so. We'll do a little bit more research on it and they'll tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong. So that's one of my artifacts. I'll do another little short dig and we'll see if we can't find something else and maybe we can measure it for next time. So let's see, where's my trowel? So I've got my trowel and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start going. I've been over here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start going this way because I know that I've been finding stuff kind of in this area, but they've all been kind of closer to the top. So and I don't want to dig a hole just right here. I kind of want to keep the whole site even as I go. So I'm not going to stay in one spot. I'm going to go all over. So I'll go this way and see if I can't find anything on this side so that I keep it all nice and even. Keep going. Put some of my sand in this dustpan so that I can put it in my bucket so that I can sift through it later, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh. Now see, that sounded different than that, but I want to be really careful that I don't press too hard. So if I'm not seeing anything around it, I keep touching it because I can hear it and I can feel it when my trowel hits it, but I'm not seeing anything yet. So I want to make sure that I'm very safe and not hurting anything like that artifact right there. See that? Now just from looking at that, it looks like a nail. But we've got to do all of our measuring and all of our recording before I can take it out and look at it. So I think we'll save that for next time, just so that we can do it really well, and I get some really great accurate measurements on it, and then we'll see what else we can find in there also. I think when I was looking through this earlier, I think there was something on this side too. Remember, when we do this, we don't want to, see I just tapped it, we don't want to dig in one spot for too long because then we just make a hole. If we look, you hear it, it's right in there. There's something on that side too. So next time I'm here in archaeology camp, I'll finish digging these out, I'll measure them, and I'll log them on my sheets, and then we'll pull them out and take a closer look at them. So make sure you check out our next video on Thursday, I believe. Keep an eye out on our Facebook page in case that changes. If you have any questions about Archaeology Camp, you can send us a message. You can call 605-578-1657 or shoot me an email. My email is amanda@deadwoodhistory.com, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks.